Hey, honey, what you doing? What you working on today?
Oh, what we have going is ladder bar work. We pulled the coilovers off. Here's AFCO coilovers, single adjustable. That's what we're running on the rear, at least until we find out if they'll won't handle the violent launch with the stick shift. Then we may have to upgrade to a double adjustable. But over here we got the ladder bars. What we have is, this is a Chassis Works ladder bar, drag race version, which drag race just means it's got solid heims in the rear, solid heims in the front. This is the original heims in the front, or rod end in the front. What I've converted to is a spherical rod end. Look at the difference of the beefiness. What has happened, we have a 1" 14 thread that threads into these ladder bars, and they come, most rod ends are going to be 1" 14 with a 1" bore, just like this right here. This one I've pushed into bushing already, this is the bushing that I'll press in to reduce it down to a 3/4 bolt. This will be the bolt that goes through and through the rod end. So
basically you're saying bigger and beefier is better for drag racing.
Yes. Well, and the key too, you notice this is a solid rod end. This is a spherical rod end. So with being a drag race version, they actually put solid rod ends in front and rear, which locks that whole suspension together. If you hit a pothole or a bump, it's locked solid. It's trying to tear a bracket out, or it's putting a lot of stress on the rod end. You don't want that on a drag and drive car. And what we do is build drag and drive cars. So you want the front, you go ahead and leave the rears solid, so then it's locked in at the rear, but the front can articulate if you hit a bump, and that's what the spherical rod ends will allow you to do. And you can tell the beefiness of this. Now, what I wanted to buy is a 1" 14 thread here with a 3/4 bore here, but virtually nobody makes those, and if you do find them, they're out of stock. They aren't even going to make more of them. So what is common is a 1" 14 thread with a 1" bore. And then what I did is made a spacer that goes from 1" OD to a 3/4 ID. And so that allows you to use the 3/4 bolt through. The reason the 3/4, because the brackets, all the brackets you get with these kits are a 3/4 hole bracket. We can come over and take a look at that. If you go that way, look under here. If you can see this right here, and let me get a flashlight. You can see those holes are 3/4 holes. That's why we're going to the 3/4 bolt through. That way we don't have to do any spacers reduction. Let me show you how the originals worked. The originals only use a 1/2" bolt, and they use a spacer, which basically slides on, then use some spacers, which are just washers. These are from the kit that they supply. Then they have the rod end, another split bushing, and then the spacers and split bushing. And then that was your rod end setup. So you're only using a 1/2" bolt and a very small head, and the beefiness here isn't near what you see here. Now this is costing you weight, but on a drag and drive, you're more worried about reliability. You want that reliability, you want that able to articulate at the front of the suspension. That's key for longevity. So much difference. You're going to lose with this. It's about 3 to 4 pounds lighter, but I'll go on a diet for a week or two before the drag race to be able to use these. That's key. 3 to 4 pounds is nothing when you're talking about the beefiness between this type of hinds and that type of hinds. So definitely the big rod ends, that's the option I went. So that's how we're doing this car, and we'll see how we go.
To find out more on his journey, like and subscribe.